everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम लोग ICT फंडामेंटल्स की क्लास करने वाले हैं। ICT फंडामेंटल की क्लास जो है वो आपकी क्लास नंबर 3 है। ऑलरेडी हमने क्लास 2 कर लिया है जिसमें हमने वेब सर्विसेज के बारे में डिस्कस कर लिया था एंड बहुत सारे हमने टॉपिक्स को वहाँ पे कवर अप भी कर लिया है। एज अगर आप हमारे चैनल फर्स्ट टाइम देख रहे हो या अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, इट्स अ रिक्वेस्ट कि आप हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करो सो दैट हम जो भी वीडियोस डालें वो आपके पास सबसे पहले पहुँचे। एंड सेकेंडली, अगर आपको हमारा वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो प्लीज़ हमारे वीडियो को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करें। आज हम स्टार्ट करते हैं ICT फंडामेंटल्स की क्लास, जिसमें आज हम सर्किट स्विचिंग के बारे में पढ़ेंगे। उनके जो एसईओ कंसिडरेशंस हैं उसको पढ़ेंगे। विजेट्स मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम भी डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, एज वेल एज विजेट्स के जो रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स हैं उसको भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे। Here we have to start with the circuit switching. First we will understand what is circuit switching and where it is used and what were the functions performed by the circuit switching here. So circuit switching is a method of implementing a telecommunication network in which two network nodes establish a dedicated communication channel, that is circuit, through the network before the nodes may communicate. अगर हम सर्किट स्विचिंग की बात करते हैं तो बेसिकली सर्किट स्विचिंग जो है वो एक तरह का मेथड है जब हम इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं टेलीकम्युनिकेशन नेटवर्क को, जहाँ पे दो नेटवर्क नोड्स जो होते हैं वो आपके एक ही कम्युनिकेशन चैनल को डेडिकेटेड होते हैं, वो हम जिसे कहते हैं सर्किट। और वो बेसिकली एक नेटवर्क के थ्रू ही कम्युनिकेट करते हैं। वो नोड्स जो होते हैं वो आपके कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए ही यूज़ होते हैं। और वो जो सर्किट्स होते हैं, द सर्किट गारंटीज द फुल बैंडविड्थ of the channel of remain connected for the duration of the communication session. The circuit function as if the nodes were physically connected as with an electrical circuit. Electrical circuit के फॉर्म में वो एक तरह का सर्किट बना लेते हैं। Circuit they are can join by their nodes only and they are communicating with each other, so they are forming circuit switching there and they are physically connected. Okay, so दोनों nodes were physically connected and as of electrical circuit के फॉर्म में वो फिजिकली कनेक्ट होते हैं। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास होती है तो वो एक दूसरे के नोड्स में पास करते हैं, जो आपके नोड्स होते हैं उसके थ्रू कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, उस कम्युनिकेशन चैनल के थ्रू कम्युनिकेट करते हैं एक सर्किट में विदिंग अलॉन्ग, दैट इज नोन एज सर्किट स्विचिंग एंड दैट आर डन द कम्युनिकेशन सेशन, द कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम हैज बीन डन, दे आर कम्युनिकेटेड by physical connected and they are formed in the form of electrical circuit here, and that what the circuit switching is all about. Now we'll discuss the next for the reference to the circuit switching here. The circuit switching contrasts with message switching and packet switching. तो circuit switching जो होता है वो contrast किसका है, आपका एक message switching का और packet switching. message और packet switching दोनों के साथ साथ आपका circuit switching combine करता है और form करता है. The defining examples of circuit switched network is an early analog telephone network when a call is made from one telephone to another, and that switch within the telephone to another. Switches within the telephone exchange creates a continuous wired circuit between the two telephone for as long as the call lasts. बेसिकली जब पहले की अगर हम बात करते हैं सर्किट स्विचिंग की, तो सर्किट स्विचिंग नेटवर्क जो सबसे पहले था वो एनालॉग टेलीफोन था। अब एनालॉग टेलीफोन की नेटवर्क क्या होता है, एनालॉग टेलीफोन नेटवर्क की जैसे पहले हम कॉल मिलाते थे तो वो कॉल दूसरे नंबर पे जाती थी, जिस नंबर पे हम कॉल कर रहे हैं उस नंबर पे वो स्विच करता था। फिर वो टेलीफोन जितनी लंबी वो कंटिन्यूस बात होती थी उतना लंबा उनका तार वायर जाता था, वायर सर्किट होता था जो कि एक फ़ोन से दूसरे फ़ोन में जाके कनेक्ट होता था, जिसके थ्रू वो जितना ज़्यादा आप बात करते थे उतना ज़्यादा उस हिसाब से चलता था। जितना आप बात करेंगे उसके हिसाब से वो वायर्स चलते थे और उसी को ही हम एनालॉग टेलीफोन नेटवर्क कहते हैं, जो कि आपका बहुत ही पुराना सर्किट स्विचिंग का एग्जाम्पल है। Okay, in the circuit switching, the bit delay is constant during a connection and opposed to packet switching, where the packet queues may cause varying and potentially indefinite लॉन्ग पैकेट्स ट्रांसफर डिलेइंग। बेसिकली अगर हम इन सर्किट स्विचिंग की बात करते हैं तो वहाँ पे बिट डिले कांस्टेंट भी जो है वो अभी आपका कनेक्शन के थ्रू होता है, जिसे हम कहते हैं दैट अपोज द पैकेट स्विचिंग, पैकेट स्विचिंग को अपोज करता हो। और वो पैकेट जो क्यूज़ हैं, क्यूज़ इन द फॉर्म की जो पहले आया तो वो पहले जाएगा, जो सेकेंड नंबर पे जो आया वो सेकेंड नंबर पे जाएगा। दीज वर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ क्यूज़, जो पहले आया वो पहले गया, तो दिस इज़ इन द फॉर्म ऑफ द क्यूज़। तो इस तरह से वो आपके वेरीफाई करते थे कि पोटेंशियली किसका इनडेफिनेट लॉन्ग पैकेट ट्रांसफ़र डिले हो सकता है, तो उसके हिसाब से वो उनको भेज देते पैकेट स्विचिंग सर्किट स्विचिंग में। No circuit can degraded by competing users because it is protected from use by other caller until basically कोई भी सर्किट जो आपका था वो कभी भी डिग्रेड नहीं होता था क्योंकि compete by competing the यूजर्स के compete करने पे बिकॉज वो प्रोटेक्ट करता था आपका जो अदर कोई कॉलर होता था जब तक वो कॉल कट नहीं जाती थी, तो उस वजह से भी आपका कोई सर्किट जो होता था वो डिग्रेड नहीं होता था. So by the circuit is released and a new connection is set up. Even if the actual communication is taking place, the channel remains reserved by the protected and committing the users as well. तो जो सर्किट होती थी वो जब तक रिलीज नहीं होता था न्यू कनेक्शन पे, ओके सेटअप नहीं होता था, तब तक वो एक्चुअल कम्युनिकेशन नहीं टेक प्लेस करता था. क्यों? क्योंकि चैनल जो रिमेन करता था वो आपका एक रिजर्व एक प्रोटेक्टेड कॉम्पिटिटिंग यूजर के लिए ही होता था. इस वजह से जब तक वो रिलीज नहीं होता था तब तक न्यू कनेक्शन जो है वो सेटअप भी नहीं होता था. अगर हो भी जाता था तो एक्चुअल कम्युनिकेशन नहीं ले पाता था. Okay, while circuit switching is commonly used for connecting voice circuits, the concepts of dedicated path passing between the two communicating parties of nodes that can be extended to a signal content otherwise. जो बेसिकली अगर हम बात करते हैं सर्किट स्विचिंग की, तो सर्किट स्विचिंग जो है वो कॉमनली आपकी कनेक्टिंग वॉइस सर्किट के लिए ही यूज़ होती है. वो कॉन्सेप्ट एक ऐसा डेडिकेटेड पाथ है जो कि परसिस्ट करता है दो कम्युनिकेटिंग पार्टीज को, जो नोड्स को कम्युनिकेट करता है और एक्सटेंड करता है सिग्नल कंटेंट अदरवाइज को. दोनों ही चीज़ के लिए सर्किट स्विचिंग जो है वो आपका सर्किट स्विचिंग जो है वो कॉमन यूज़ है कि वो वॉइस सर्किट्स को कम्युनिकेट करता था. और कॉन्सेप्ट जो होता था वो पाथ पासिंग दो कम्युनिकेटिंग पार्टीज के बीच के नोड्स के बीच में. So that what circuit switching is all performed on. Now next one, the advantages of using circuit switching is that it provides for continuous transfer without the overhead associated with the packets, making the maximal use of the available bandwidth for that communication. तो बेसिकली अगर हम बात करते हैं एडवांटेजेस की, तो जो एडवांटेजेस होती हैं सर्किट स्विचिंग की वो बेसिकली प्रोवाइड करती हैं कंटिन्यूस ट्रांसफ़र, जहाँ पे आपका पूरा ओवरहेड एसोसिएट करता है पैकेट्स को, और जो उसका मैक्सिमम जो यूज़ होता है आपका अवेलेबल बैंडविड्थ का कम्युनिकेशन के लिए. तो ऑल ये एक एडवांटेज है आपका सर्किट स्विचिंग का, जो कि एक्चुअली कंटिन्यूस ट्रांसफर को प्रोवाइड करता है with reference in the form of the packets, and that can be maximize the available bandwidth for the communication. Where the one disadvantages, जब advantages है तो of course there is a one disadvantages as well. So one disadvantages is that it can relatively inefficient because unused capacity guarantee the connection cannot be used by the other connection on the same network. In addition, call cannot be established or will be dropped if the circuit is broken. तो इसका एक डिसएडवांटेजेस भी है, क्योंकि जब डिसएडवांटेजेस क्या है कि जब वो रिलेटिवली इतना एफिशिएंट नहीं होता या फिर जब ज़्यादा यूज़ नहीं हो रहा है, उसकी कैपेसिटी गारंटी नहीं करती है कनेक्शन को, ठीक है. तो ये एक कनेक्शन से वो दूसरे कनेक्शन पे सेम नेटवर्क पे जा पाएगा, इसलिए उसके एडिशन की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो वो अपना एस्टैब्लिश नहीं हो पाता कि वो एक ड्रॉप कर दे. अगर सर्किट ब्रेक हो गया तो वो ड्रॉप भी कर देगा. So this is the basically the one disadvantages. And now we will discuss about the examples of circuit switching. Circuit switched network के आपके examples दिखेंगे. पहली बात तो आपने समझ लिया कि what is circuit switching is all about, what performance has been done by the circuit switching, what are the old circuit switching method that we are using here. But now we'll discuss with reference to the examples of circuit switched network. The examples of circuit switched network, there are first example is public switched telephone network. पहला है आपका public switched telephone network, ये आपका PSTN जिसे हम बोलते हैं. सेकेंड इज योर बी चैनल ऑफ ISDN. बी चैनल जो है वो आपका सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल है सर्किट स्विच का. पहला आपका है पब्लिक स्विच्ड टेलीफोन नेटवर्क, सेकेंड आपका है बी चैनल ऑफ ISDN. थर्ड आपका जो है वो है सर्किट स्विच्ड डेटा, जिसे हम CSD बोलते हैं, एंड हाई स्पीड सर्किट स्विच डेटा, जिसे HSCST बोलते हैं, सर्विस इन सेलुलर सिस्टम सच एज GSM. तो GSM का जो सेलुलर सिस्टम है उसमें आपको ये हाई स्पीड सर्किट स्विच डेटा दिखा होगा, और सर्किट स्विच डेटा CSD और HSCST जो है वो आपको वहाँ पे दिखा होगा. Next is your data kit. Data kit is also the example of circuit switched network. तो पहला क्या है public switched telephone network PSTN. Second one is B channel of ISDN. Third one is circuit switch data CSD and high speed circuit switch data, that is HSCSD, और फिर जो कि सेलुलर सिस्टम और आपका GSM में पाया गया देखा गया. Next one is your fourth one, that is your data kit. Now moving on with the next one with reference to the circuit switching only. The next one is X.21 used in the German date XL and Scandinavian date X circuit switched data network. This is ये आपका X.21 था, एक जर्मन डेट एक्सेल था और एक स्कैंडिनेवियन डेट एक्स सर्किट स्विच डेटा नेटवर्क थे. तो ये X.21. Second one is your optical. Next one is your optical mesh network. Optical mesh network is like is of such like this type, सब एक दूसरे से connected हैं. This is like a mesh. Okay, so optical mesh network is the last one, that example of the circuit switching. Now moving on with the web widgets. तो अभी सर्किट स्विचिंग कंप्लीट हो गया. सर्किट स्विचिंग क्या होता है, किस तरह से परफॉर्म करता है, वो सारी चीज़ें हमने देख ली है. उसके साथ साथ हमने इसके एग्जांपल्स भी डिस्कस कर लिए, किस टाइप के किस टाइप के सर्किट्स को हम सर्किट स्विचिंग कहते हैं और किस टाइप के उसके क्या एग्जांपल्स थे वो भी हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. नाउ विल डिस्कस अबाउट द वेब विजेट्स. व्हाट आर द वेब विजेट्स, दैट इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट and that had been asked, and some student has also asked about the web widgets, so I had given these classes for those only. Web widgets क्या होता है? A web widget is a web page or a web application that is embedded as an element of host web page but is substantially independent of the host web page, having a limited और no interaction with the host. अगर हम बात करते हैं with reference to the web widget, तो web widget एक वेब पेज है आपका, वेब एप्लीकेशन है जो कि embedded होता है आपका एक एलिमेंट ऑफ होस्ट वेब पेज में, और इसके साथ साथ ये एक सब्सटेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट होता है होस्ट वेब पेज का, जहाँ पे एक लिमिटेड इंटरेक्शन होता है होस्ट के साथ. ओके, जहाँ लिमिटेड क्या आप कह सकते हैं, नो इंटरेक्शन होता है होस्ट के साथ. ओके, a web widget commonly provide user of the host page access to the resource from the other website content that the host page may be presented from the accessing itself by the user. Same origin policy on the content provider, CORS policy. बेसिकली अगर हम वेब विजेट की बात करते हैं तो वो कॉमनली प्रोवाइड करता है कि यूज़र होस्ट पेज को जो कि एक्सेस कर सकता है रिसोर्स के थ्रू एक अदर वेबसाइट पे. उसके साथ साथ जो होस्ट वेब पेज होता है वो आपका एक्सेस करने के लिए यूज़ होता है क्योंकि आप ब्राउज़र ओरिजिन करता है कि पॉलिसी को. उसके साथ साथ प्रोवाइडर कॉर्ड्स पॉलिसी एज वेल. That content includes an advertising, that is Google AdSense, sponsored external links, that is Taboola, user comments, that is Disque, and social media buttons, that is Twitter, Facebook. न्यूज़ की बात करते हैं तो USA Today, एंड वेदर की बात करते हैं तो AccuWeather. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो आपके वेब विजेट्स ही हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ कि अगर हम बात करते हैं कि एडवर्टाइजिंग की बात करते हैं तो गूगल एडसेंस है, स्पॉन्सर एक्सटर्नल की बात लिंक्स की बात करते हैं तो टाबूला यूज़ होता है, यूज़र कमेंट्स है तो डिस्कस, सोशल मीडिया बटन से तो फेसबुक एंड आपके ट्विटर, न्यूज़ USA टुडे, एंड ऑफ कोर्स एंड वेदर की बात करते हैं तो एक्यू वेदर. तो ये सारे जो आपके हैं वो वेब विजेट्स की कैटेगराइजेशन ही है. ओके, now we'll move on with the next one, that is the some web widgets through the server as a user selectable customization of the host page itself by Yahoo. some कुछ ऐसे वेब विजेट्स हैं जो कि एक यूज़र यूज़ करते सर्वर यूज़ करते सेलेक्टेबल कस्टमाइजेशन के लिए, जो कि होस्ट पेज के लिए यूज़ होता है फॉर द इटसेल्फ, जिसे हम माय याहू बोलते हैं. Okay, now we'll learn about the technologies that is driven by the web widgets only, and the technologies that is widgets may be considered as downloadable application which look and act like a traditional app but are implemented using the web technologies including the JavaScript, Flash, HTML and CSS. जो टेक्नोलॉजी है वेब विजेट, वो बेसिकली अगर मैं इसको डाउनलोड करोगे तो आपको लगेगा कि ऐसा ये पुराना ट्रेडिशनल कोई ऐप है, पर ये इम्प्लीमेंट जो है वो वेब टेक्नोलॉजीज़ के थ्रू इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया है, जिसमें आपका पहला है आपका जावास्क्रिप्ट है, सेकेंड आपका फ्लैश है, थर्ड आपका HTML है, फोर्थ आपका CSS है. तो इनके कॉम्बिनेशन से ही वेब विजेट्स बना है. Widget used and depend on a web API exposed either by the browser or by the widget engine such as Akamai, and your Clear Spring, Kick App, Mass Publisher, and the News Getter, are many others. These were the examples of the widget engines that we have here. Okay, now moving with reference to the widgets that totally depend upon the web API, that you have to be very understandable, and that by the browser, as well as the example is Akamai, Clear Spring, Kick App, and Mass Publisher, News Getter, and many others. Now moving on with the next one that we have here is So in terms of the technology, that a site such as Form Loop allows users to easily create widgets from their own content with no coding knowledge necessary. Basically, अगर हम बात करते हैं with related to the technology, तो Form Loop जो है वो allow करता है कि आप easily widgets को create कर सके. Create करने के साथ साथ अपने खुद के content को भी आप दे सकें, और उसके साथ साथ कोई भी coding knowledge की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप widget को create कर सकते हैं easily. Now talking about the usage in the social media, what is the usage in the social media about the widgets? The usage in the social media about the widgets are: end user primarily use widgets to enhance their personal web experiences or the web experiences of visitors to their personal sites. बेसिकली जो एंड यूज़र्स होते हैं वो प्राइमरी यूज़ करते हैं विजेट को कि वो इन्हांस कर सकते हैं अपना खुद का पर्सनल वेब एक्सपीरियंस, और उसके साथ साथ वो दूसरे जो भी विजिट कर रहे हैं उनके पर्सनल साइट पे उनके भी वेब एक्सपीरियंसेस को इन्हांस कर सकें, इसलिए सोशल मीडिया में विजेट्स यूज़ करते हैं. The use of widget has proven increasingly popular, where users of the social media are able to add standard alone application to blog profiles and community page. इसीलिए जब हम विजिट्स को यूज़ करते हैं तो वो बेसिकली इंक्रीज़ करता है हमारी पॉपुलैरिटी को, पॉपुलर होता है. उसके साथ साथ जो यूज़र्स सोशल मीडिया में होते हैं वो आप ऐड कर सकते हो उसमें स्टैंडर्ड एप्लीकेशन ब्लॉग्स के या फिर प्रोफाइल्स के या कम्युनिटी पेजेस के, आप वो यू कैन ऐड दोज things while you are using the widgets in the social media. Where the next point, these were the two important use of the widgets that we are using in the social media, as all of us know that we are using the widgets in the social media as well. The widgets adds utility here. So with related to the community page, now we'll discuss with the next that we have related to the widgets. Widgets add utility in the same way that an iPhone application does. Widget basically हम add utility के तरह से add utility करते हैं, and that same way जैसा कि iPhone application करता है. The developer of these widgets are offering them as form of the sponsored content, which can pay the cost of the development when the widget's utility map to the user needs in the way where both parties gain. For example, a sports need a brand gain awareness and increase audience share in the exchange of the utility of current game score being instantly and dynamically available. The blog which posted the sports score widget might gain in having a sticker site. Basically, all these were used by the widgets only, and that in the same way as the developers of these widgets are offering them in a form of a sponsored content, as well as they can pay for that the cost of the development, where the widgets utility map of that particular users need in the both way where the both parties are gaining. Example for that we had deal here is like sport news, that a brand might gain the awareness about the increased audience to share the exchange of the utility of the current game score and being instantly and dynamically available on the blog. which posted by the sports score widgets might gain in having a sticker site as well. So this is all about what we are discussing, the usage in social media about the widgets. Now we'll discuss about the security consideration related to the widgets. What are the security considerations related to the widgets? As any program code, widget can be used for malicious purpose. One example is of the Facebook, that is Secret Crush widget, reported to in early 2008 by the front end as alluring users. In any of the program code, widgets can be used in the malicious purposes also. And the malicious, you are very aware about the virus also, the malicious virus here. One of the example of the Facebook, that like Secret Crush or widgets, reported in the early 2008 by the Fortinet as in luring users to install the Zango advisor. That also what we are using, that adware, Zango adware here. Now moving on with the next one that we have related to the security consideration is, well, that to install the Zango adware, as I said, told you, one of the important factor with the client-side widget is that often the host can not control the content. The content of the functionality it provides cannot be modified by the host as well. One of the most important factor, if I'm talking about the client-side widget, that are offering often the host that cannot control the content as well, and even though the content of that functionality that provides that cannot be modified by the host as well. The content is pre-published by the publisher, author, service provider, and the host can either accept the content or not to use those widgets. Basically, those content that has been not controlled by the host, those content has been pre-published by the publishers as well as authors or the service provider, and that host can either be accept the content, and they had a choice of to accept that content, or even that not used as the widgets that has a option by a host, but they cannot modify those content. The host does, however, control the placements of the widgets, because the host can always take the widgets alone down. It assures a large degree of mutual advantages and satisfaction with performance and content. The host does not, however, control the placement of that widgets, because of the host can also take the widgets down, and it only assures a large degree of mutual advantages and satisfaction with the performance as well as the content. This is all about that we have discussed here about the security consideration related to the widgets here. Now we'll discuss about the SEO consideration. What are the SEO consideration that we have to deal with? That SEO consideration, web widgets can affect page rank in two ways. The first, web widget basically that can affect the page ranks in the two ways. The first one is to link generated by a client side widget being wait be seen by the search engine that don't run that the widget code before the analyzing the page. Basically web widget में जो first होता है that link generated by a client side widget only, and that right has been search engine that is don't run on the widget that could be analyzing on that page. These links won't contribute to the page rank. Second, the one is a page may be that penalized by for hosting and widgets that automatically page link up into the page, thereby the manipulating the page rank as well. But this was the SEO consideration that are related to the widgets that affects the page rank into the ways. The first way is this that we had discussed, and the second page is this. Second way is this for the web widgets, that SEO consideration that we are dealing with. The page rank while discussing about the manipulating also. Now the next one is the widgets management system. What are the widget management system has been used here? And the widget management system offers a method of managing widget that works on any web page, such as basically widget management system that offers a method of managing the widgets as well, and that works on any web page such as that we are dealing here, that is such as blog or spatial networking homepage. Many blog systems come with a built-in widgets management system as plugins, a user can obtain the widgets and the other widgets management tools from the various widgets companies. Basically, if I'm talking about the blogs or the social networking homepage, and that many blog systems come within the built-in and widget management system, as well as they are plugged in. User can obtain that widget, other widgets management system tool for the various widgets as well. Where now we'll discuss about the mobile web widget. What are the mobile web widget here? The mobile web widget, a mobile web widget has the same now we are dealing with a mobile web widget. There the widgets that are present in the mobile, so the mobile web widget has the same purpose and function as a web widget, but it is made for use on the mobile devices such as mobile phone or tablet. बेसिकली मोबाइल वेब विजेट्स जो होते हैं वो सेम पर्पस के लिए यूज़ होते हैं फॉर द सेम फंक्शंस फॉर द वेब विजेट्स, but that is used for the mobile devices or tablet, or that's like mobile phone and the tablet. In contrast, a web widget is on personal computer or laptop, okay, with laptop computer. Now we deal with the next one, that is simplex data transmission. And what is simplex data transmission? That is important, and as well as this is important for you all, for your knowledge, as well as for the consideration of the ICT fundamentals here. So basically, simplex data transmission, if I'm talking about the simplex communication, is a communication channel that sends information in one direction only. If I'm talking about the simplex data transmission, so simplex data transmission is that communication channel that sends the information in the one direction only, that send the direct in the form of in the one direction here, or it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. अगर ये है तो ये नहीं होगा, अगर ये है तो ये नहीं होगा, in the one direction only. That's simplex communication, that channel. Now moving on to the next point with reference to the simplex data transmission, that International Telecommunication Union definition is a communication channel that operates in one direction at a time, but that may be reversible. This is the terms as half duplex or the other in the other context. So as I said you, either it is तो एक टाइम पे वो एक ही डायरेक्शन को फॉलो करेगा, कम्युनिकेशन चैनल जो है वो एक ही टाइम पे एक ही ऑपरेट करेगा, उसको हम हाफ डुप्लेक्स भी बोलते हैं. Okay, that we are telling us that is half a duplex at a time, and that only content in the terms of one way, and that could be reversible. It could be in the this way or this way, but it could be in the one direction only at a time. This is important. A duplex communication channel requires two simplex channel operating in the opposite direction. Basically, a duplex, this is a half duplex, but in a duplex communication channel that requires two simplex channels that are operating in the opposite direction. That could be gone from left to right, and it could be right from left. So it could be in the two directions, that a duplex communication channel requires the two simplex channels that are operating in the opposite direction. That you can understand by this way. Now in the case of the simplex data transmission that we have to discuss here, for example, in TV and radio broadcasting, information flows only from the transmitter site to multiple receivers. Basically, from for example, like if I'm talking about the TV, television or radio broadcasting, these were the information where the flowing from the transmitter side, the information has been flowing from the transmitter side to the multiple receivers that they are receiving, that they are opening the TV or their radio, so that they can listen all these things, or see all these things in the form of the television here. With the receivers, a pair of walkie-talkie two-way radio provides a simplex circuit in the ITU sense. Only one party at a time can talk, and while the other listens until it hears an opportunity to transmit. The transmission medium, the radio signals over the air, can carry information in only one direction. If I'm talking about the signals that are transmitting by a radio, by air, so that it could be in the form of one direction only, it could be in the way left to right or right to left, or in a one direction only. But if I'm talking about the walkie-talkie, so it could be in the same way, one at a time. If someone is saying something to from one end, so it the second and one person, they have to listen all the things what the first person is saying. Then after that one it is completed, then the another one can start telling and communicating, transmit our their messages, or that they can listen. So this is a radio signal that over the air that can carry the information in only the one direction area. In the old Western Union company used the term a simplex where they're describing the half duplex and the simplex capacity of their new transatlantic telegraph cable completed. Okay, this will talking about the old Western Union companies that were using the term simplex where they are describing the half duplex as well as the simplex capacity of new transatlantic telegraph cable completed. Now we're dealing with the users simplex transmission. So users simplex transmission. Here the examples of simplex include radio broadcasting, television broadcasting, computer to printer communication, and the keyboard to computer connection. The second definition of simplex states that the information can only be broadcast in one direction at one time. As I said you before, only they're simple users of simplex transmission. The examples of simplex transmission. The first example is your radio broadcasting that could be in the form of one that information can only be broadcast from in a one direction at one time, and as well as for the television as well, that the transformation, the information has been transmitted from one time at one information that can be broadcast in one direction at one time. The computer to printer communication is also the same, that as comes under the simplex transmission, as well as the keyboard to computer connection is also the simplex transmission. That also comes that can be get information from broadcast one direction at one time. And the second definition in the simplex state that is the simplex information, and that is the simplest definitions. So one at a time. In the simplex transmission, that the it's state that the simplex states that information can only be broadcast in one direction at a time. So this is all about the uses of simplex transmission. Now will the simplex transmission has been completed, so now we'll discuss about the image compression. This is the new topic that we have to discuss here. So image compression क्या होता है, that you have to understand. Image compression is a process of encoding and converting the image file in such a way that it consumes less space than the original file. It is a type of a compression technique that reduces the size of an image file without affecting and degrading its quality. Image compression की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो एज ऑफ अगर आप इंजीनियर स्टूडेंट हैं तो डिजिटल इमेज प्रोसेसिंग भी आप एक सब्जेक्ट एज पढ़ेंगे, तो उसमें इमेज प्रोसेसिंग आपको बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ाया जाएगा. एंड इफ यू हैव रिक्वायर्ड ऑफ दीज सब्जेक्ट्स यू कैन जस्ट कमेंट ऑन द कमेंट सेक्शन, देन वी विल बी फर्दर फॉलोइंग योर what are your opinions, and accordingly we will performing that. सो इमेज कंप्रेशन क्या होता है, बेसिकली वो एक प्रोसेस है जहाँ पे हम एनकोड करते हैं और डिकोड करते हैं. दिस इज अ टाइप दैट वे आर यू हाइडिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन. okay, so the encoding and converting those image file in such a way that it consumes the less space, जहाँ पे वो कम स्पेस ले, उसके साथ साथ जो ओरिजिनल फाइल है उससे कम स्पेस ले. उसके साथ साथ वो जो टाइप कंप्रेशन होता है, ये कंप्रेशन टेक्निक है जिससे आप इसका स्पेस जो है वो लेस कर देते हो, जो कि रिड्यूस करता है साइज ऑफ इमेज फाइल का. उसके साथ साथ वो इफेक्ट भी नहीं करता, डिग्रेड भी नहीं करता उसकी क्वालिटी को, जो कि ओरिजिनल क्वालिटी है आपकी उस इमेज की. okay, now we are dealing with next that we have. So basically to the greater extent it could not damage the quality as well. Types of image compression. Now we'll deal with how many types of image compressions are there. There are two types of compressions you can pick when of optimizing your image. तो दो तरह के आपके compressions होते हैं जो कि आप कोई भी एक चूज कर सकते हो ऑप्टिमाइज करने के लिए अपने इमेज को. फर्स्ट दैट यू हैव इज योर लॉसी compression, and that is lossless compression. Lossy compression is the type where you are where the information, the image has been lost, and that way that you can say that this is lossy compression. And another lossless compression where the information, then the image has been not lost, and that is lossless compression. Now we're dealing with the advantages of image compression. क्या advantages हैं आपके image compression के? So here the advantages of image compression that we have here Image compression can benefit user by having a picture load faster and web pages uses up the less space on the web host. Basically image compression जो है वो benefit करता है users को that having a picture load faster and web pages using up less space on a web host as well. Image compression does not reduce the physical size of image. Image compression जो है वो आपका reduce नहीं करता आपका physical size of image का, बस instead of compresses the data that makes up the image into the smaller size. वो आपका जो image compression है वो आपका data को कभी भी loss नहीं करता, reduce नहीं करता, physical size जो image की होती है वो नहीं करता, but वो compress कर देता है उस data को जो कि original size से थोड़ा सा कम होता है आपका. ओके उसका साइज जो होता है वो इमेज से आपका ओरिजिनल से थोड़ा कम होता है that they are doing here. Now we are dealing with the compression techniques here. Then you can see that the compression techniques. So there are the first technique of compression is table of content जिसे हम TOC बोलते हैं. Table of content. Then the second one is lossy web, p adaptive block quantization. Why was a p lossy is better than jpeg? This is another compression technique. The third one is lossless web p predictor, spatial जो होता है transform and color decorrelations, transform subtract, green transform, color indexing जिसे हम palettes बोलते हैं, palette transform, and the color cache according, that is Z77 backward references. And the next one that you have a comparison technique, and that we have is lossy web p with alpha. These were the comparison technique that are using by the compression method with related to the image compression and the data compression as well. Now dealing with next that we have here is, now this is the next new topic, that is web searching tool. This is also important, and what are the web searching tool that you have to discuss here. So the web searching tool, web searching जहाँ पे आप सर्च करते हो जो कि वेब के थ्रू होता है. The specialized search engines, अगर हम स्पेशलाइज्ड सर्च इंजन्स जो कि न्यूज़ के हैं तो अगर उनकी बात करते हैं तो पहला है आपका बिंग न्यूज़, सेकेंड इज एक्यूट न्यूज़, एक्साइट न्यूज़, सॉरी, गूगल न्यूज़, लाइकॉस न्यूज़ एंड याहू न्यूज़. तो ये आपके टॉप 5 आपके स्पेशलाइज्ड सर्च इंजन है विद रेफरेंस टू द न्यूज़. तो पहला है बिंग न्यूज़, एक्साइट न्यूज़, गूगल न्यूज़, लाइकॉस न्यूज़ एंड याहू न्यूज़. Now coming to the next one, the best search engines in the world. अब हम बात करते हैं बेस्ट सर्च इंजन की जो कि वर्ल्ड में आपके है, और आपका पहले नंबर पे तो गूगल है. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, सब लोग जानते हैं, हमें कुछ भी सर्च करना होता है, हमें कुछ भी पूछना होता है तो वी कैन जस्ट गो थ्रू विद द गूगल बाबा. ओके तो गूगल पे हम जाते हैं, हमें अपने जो भी चीज़ें नहीं समझ में आती हैं वी कैन आस्क फ्रॉम गूगल एंड अप्रोप्रिएट हमको आंसर मिल जाता है. तो गूगल पहला है. तो उस टॉप वर्ल्ड की अगर मैं बात करती हूँ तो टॉप लेवल पे जो सर्च इंजन है आपका वो आपका गूगल है. द सेकेंड वन, द सेकेंड सर्च इंजन दैट वी हैव इज बिंग. The third search engine that we have is Baidu. The fourth one, the search engine fourth is Yahoo. Fifth search engine that we have Yandex. So sixth web search engine that we have is Ask. Seventh web search we have is DuckDuckGo, and the eighth search engine of that we have is Naver. So these were the 8 top best search engines in the world. That is, first is Google, second is Bing, third is Baidu, fourth is Yahoo, fifth is Yandex, sixth is Ask, and seventh is DuckDuckGo, and eighth is Naver here. Now we'll understand about the Google. I think everyone knows about the Google, but of course somewhat we will discuss here. So Google is beside the most popular search engine, covering over 90% of the worldwide market. Google boost outstanding feature that makes it the best search engine in the market. बेसिकली गूगल जो है बेस्ट आपका सर्च इसलिए भी है क्योंकि इस पे 90% वर्ल्ड वाइड मार्केट का सारा डेटा आपके पास है गूगल के पास. इस वजह से 90% का डेटा होना उसके लिए ये वेब सर्च इंजन बेस्ट है, और इस वजह से सारी चीज़ें आपको मिल भी जाती हैं. Now we'll deal with the definitions related to utilities available in the on the internet. जो utilities हैं available है internet पे to help you find the information among the billions of document on the web. सर्च टूल्स आर कैटेगराइज्ड इन 3 टाइप्स। जो सर्च टूल्स होते हैं उसमें आपके मिलियंस ऑफ डेटा होते हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्स होते हैं वेब पे जो आपको फाइंड आउट करके देते हैं, फिगर आउट करके देते हैं। अब बात करते हैं अगर हम सर्च टूल्स कैटेगराइजेशन की, तो सर्च टूल्स टाइप्स जो हैं वो आपके यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं। एक है इंटरनेट डायरेक्टरीज, search engines, and the third one is meta search engines. The first is your internet directory, second is the search engines, third is meta search engines here. Okay, these were the top search engine categorized in the 3 types where we are discussing here. Now moving on with the next that we have here is, so here we are dealing with the ATM protocol stack. ATM protocol stack is also important, and where we are dealing with at ATM protocol stack. What is ATM protocol stack? AAL layer in ATM protocol stack consists of 2 sub layers, where AL layer, that is ATM protocol stack जो है वो 2 sub layers उसके पास होते हैं. पहला है आपका conversion sub layer, this is SAR, that is segmentation and reassembly sub layer. ATM add AL layer does not following the function. AL does not encapsulation of user data generated by the upper layer as well. So here all we are discussing about the ATM here, and that we are using nowadays very well. Asynchronous transfer mode, that is A stands for asynchronous, T stands for, and M is mode. So that is the asynchronous transfer mode protocol architecture is designed to support the transfer of data with the range of guarantees for the quality of services. जो asynchronous transfer mode है जिसे हम ATM बोलते हैं, ये एक प्रोटोकॉल आर्किटेक्चर है जहाँ पे वो सपोर्ट करता है ट्रांसफ़र डेटा को ट्रांसफ़र करने के लिए, एज वेल एज रेंज ऑफ गारंटीज फॉर द क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विसेज. The next one is the user data is divided into small fixed length packets called cells and transported over virtual connection. तो जो ये आपका यूज़र डेटा होता है ये बेसिकली आपका स्मॉल मॉल छोटे छोटे में डिवाइडेड होता है फिक्स्ड लेंथ पैकेट्स के साथ. उसके यही हमारे सेल्स कहलाते हैं और इनको ही हम ट्रांसपोर्ट करते हैं वर्चुअल कनेक्शन के थ्रू. Now, dealing with ATM only, that we have to understand the ATM operates over a high data rate. जो ATM है वो operate करता है आपका over a high data rate of physical circuit, and the simplex structures of ATM cells allows switching to be performed in hardware, which improves the spread and efficiency of the ATM switches as well. जो ATM है वो operate करता है आपका एक high data rate पे जो physical circuits के होते हैं, even though they are in the form of simple structure of ATM cells, as well as they have a they are allowing the switches to be performed in the hardware that improves the speed and as well as the efficiency of ATM switches there. Now dealing with the next one, the three-dimensional representation of ATM protocol architecture is intended to portray the relationship between the different types of protocol. जो three-dimensional representation है आपका ATM का protocol architecture का, वो intend करता है, portray करता है एक relationship को जो कि different types of protocol को represent करता है. Now, with reference to the ATM only that we have here, the horizontal layer indicate the encapsulation of protocol through the levels of abstraction on one layer is built on the top of the another, where the vertical planes indicates the function that requires coordination of the action. If I'm talking about the horizontal layer, that totally indicate the encapsulation, जैसा कि encapsulation capsule में आप देखते हो कि अंदर की वो चीज़ रहती है कहाँ मैटर रहता है इंपॉर्टेंट, उसके बाद कैप्सूल ऊपर से कवर रहता है. तो ऐसे ही इनकैप्सुलेशन होता है डेटा का, जो कि आपका डेटा अंदर रहता है उसके ऊपर से उसकी कवरिंग रहती है, दैट अ प्रोटोकॉल थ्रू द लेवल ऑफ एब्स्ट्रैक्शन. एब्स्ट्रैक्शन का मतलब मैंने आपको बताया था पहले भी, तो एब्स्ट्रैक्शन का मतलब होता है हाइडिंग. तो हाइडिंग ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा, हाइडिंग ऑन अ वन लेयर इज बिल्ड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द अनदर. एक के ऊपर एक आपकी हाइडिंग लेयर बनी होती है जिसके अंदर आपका डेटा रहता है. विद द वर्टिकल प्लेन्स इंडिकेटेड द फंक्शन, जो वर्टिकल लेयर्स होती है वो आपके फंक्शन को रिप्रेजेंट करती है, दैट रिक्वायर द कोऑर्डिनेट्स of the action related taken by the different layers as well. So with the taken by the different layers, and advantages of dividing the functions in control and user planes, in that it introduces a degree of independence in the definition of the function. Basically it is the different layer that has an advantages of dividing the functions into the control and the user planes, and as well as is that of that it introduces a degree of independence in the definition of the function, and that the protocol of transfer transferring the user data that is in the user plane and that are separated from the protocol that for controlling the connection that is in the control plane. तो यूजर प्लेन पे बेसिकली वो ट्रांसफर करता है प्रोटोकॉल का यूजर का जो डेटा होता है और सेपरेट करता है प्रोटोकॉल को कंट्रोल करने के लिए जो कि कंट्रोल प्लेन पे होता है. The protocol in the ATM layer provides communication between ATM switches while basically जो protocols होते हैं ATM layer के वो provide करते हैं communication between the ATM switches where while asynchronous transfer mode जिसे कि हमने बताया आपको ATM कहते हैं जिसे asynchronous transfer mode is a telecommunication standard defined by the ANSI and ITU formerly CCITT for the digital transmission of multiple types of traffic including the telephony that is voice data and the video signals and the network without the use of the separate overlays network. तो एसिंक्रोनस टाइप ट्रांसफर मोड की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो एक टेलीकम्युनिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड होता है जो कि एएनएसआई और आईटीयू के जो कि सीसीआईटीटी एक से ऑलरेडी स्टैंडर्डाइज डिफाइंड है. वो जो कि डिजिटल ट्रांसमिशन आपका मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ ट्रैफिक के लिए यूज़ होता है दैट इंक्लूड द टेलीफोनी जो कि वॉइस पे होता है डेटा होता है वीडियो सिग्नल्स होते हैं एंड दैट एज वेल एज वन नेटवर्क विदाउट द यूज ऑफ द सेपरेट ऑफ द ओवरलेज नेटवर्क हियर. Now dealing with the next one that ATM was developed to meet the needs of the broadband integrated services digital network as defined in the late 1980s and designed to integrate telecommunication network. It can handle both a traditional high throughput data traffic and the real-time low latency content such voice and video. Basically as ATM provides a functionality that uses the features of circuit switching and the packet switching network. It uses a asynchronous time division multiplexing and encodes data into small. They are encoding the data into the smaller one. They are ATM that developed to meet the need of the that broadband integrated services in the digital network as well as they are defined in the late 1980s as well. And they had designed the integrate telecommunication network which can handle the traditional high throughput data traffic as well as real time and the low latency content such as your voice video. That ATM even though provides a functionality that uses the features of circuit switching packet switching network as well, and it uses a asynchronous time division multiplexing and even though encodes data into the small also. So all these what we are discussing are related to the ATM here. That is was developed to meet the need of the broadband integrated services, whereas ATM is also the telecommunication standard defined by the NCI and then ITU. Now moving on with the next one with reference to the small data into the small networks as well on the fixed size network packets as well. Now in the ISO OSI reference model, if I'm talking about the in a ISO OSI reference model, data linked layer, that is the layer 2, the layer 2 we have a data linked layer, the basic transfer units of the generally called the frames. So basically these basic general forms where the data has been transmitted that are known as frames here. So in the ATM, these frames are of fixed 53 octets of bytes length of the specifically called calls. So basically ATM, these were the frames that are of fixed, and they have a 53 octets of bytes or length, especially they are called calls. They differs from the approaches such as IP or the Ethernet that uses the variable size packets of frame. ATM uses a connection-oriented model in which a virtual circuit must be established between the two endpoints before the data exchange begins. Then these between the 2 points that the virtual circuit must be established there. Okay, with reference to that only, the ATM of these frames is these were the in of the 53 octets of bytes and the length of the specially that are the calls. These virtual circuits may be either permanent, जो ये virtual circuits होते हैं ये आपके permanent भी हो सकते हैं, that is a dedicated connection that are usually configured by the services provider or switched, that is set up as a per call basis using the signally and the discontent when the calls is terminated. These virtual circuits may either be a permanent as well as they are dedicated to the connection that are usually pre-configured about the services provider, and they are, or even though they can switched also. These are the setups on the per call basis or using the signal either discontent when the call is terminated. The ATM network reference model approximately maps to a three lowest layers of OSI models. That the first lowest layer is a physical layer, and the second is your data linked layer, and the third one is your network layer. These were the three layers that has been categorized in the under the ATM network reference model, which are approximately maps on the three levels layer. That is, the first one is your this physical layer, and the second one is your data link layer, and the third one is your network layer. Now we deal with next that we have reference to the ATM here. ATM is a core protocol used in the SONET SDM, a backbone of the public switch telephony network, that is PSTN, and is integrated service digital network, that is ISDN, but has largely been superloaded on a four next generations. In the case we are dealing with the ATM in the core protocol that has been used for the with reference to the in the reference to the SONET as well as SDM backbone of that public switches telephony network, that is PSTN, and this is integrated services digital network ISDN, but has largely been supported, or you can say supposed in the form of the four next generation that networks that are based on the internet protocol, that is IP technology. Now moving on with next, and the network based on the IP internet protocol IP technology, while wireless and the mobile ATM never established a significant foothold. Basically, if I'm talking the wireless, which we don't have a wire there, and about the mobile ATM that never established in the significant foothold that as internet protocol, that is IP technologies, can hold about the network that they had holding. Now we deal with cell structure there. Now you have to understand what is the cell structure, what is the cell structure of ATM. Basically we are dealing with cell structure of ATM. Okay, the asynchronous transfer machine, sorry, asynchronous transfer mode. An ATM cell consists of a 5-byte header and a 48-byte payload. The payload size of 48 byte was chosen as described here. तो बेसिकली एटीएम जो कॉल आपका कंसिस्ट करता है वो 5 बाइट का आपका हेडर होता है, 48 बाइट का पेलोड होता है. जो पेलोड होता है वो डिपेंड करता है, यहाँ पे मैंने बताया अभी आपको. एटीएम डिफाइंस 2 डिफरेंट सेल फॉर्मेट्स. जो एटीएम है उसके 2 डिफरेंट सेल फॉर्मेट्स होते हैं. यूज़र नेटवर्क इंटरफेस, यूएनआई जिसे कहते हैं, यूज़र नेटवर्क इंटरफेस पहला आपका फॉर्मेट. सेकेंड फॉर्मेट इज नेटवर्क इंटरफेस, जिसे एनएनआई बोलते हैं, नेटवर्क इंटरफेस. मोस्ट एटीएम लिंक्स यूजेस यूएनआई फॉर्मेट. तो जैसे तो एटीएम जो है वो आपके 2 डिफरेंट एसएल फॉर्मेट्स को करता है, दैट इज यूज़र नेटवर्क इंटरफेस, दैट इज यूएनआई, and then network interface, that is NNI. but ज़्यादातर आपका UNI यूज़ किया जाता है ATM के थ्रू, that is user network interface here. This is a diagram of a UNI ATM cell that most of the ATM has been using this format only. So this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well as 7. With reference to the 0 to 3, that we have a VPI and VCI in the first to second layer, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 may then we have a GFC and VPI. Then we have from 0 to 7, then on the third layer VCI. Then on the fourth लेयर 0 लेयर में CLP होता है, 1 2 3 फॉर्मेट में आपका PT होता है, and then VCI आपका next 4 5 6 7 लेयर में होता है. Then on the next layer that we have HEC. This is the format of diagram, that is UNI ATM format. Now we'll deal with what is a GFC, what is VPI, what is VCI, what is PT, what is CLP, and what is HEC. That we will discuss in the form. First we'll discuss about the format, what is the full form of these, and what are the functions of these, that we'll discuss in here. Now dealing with the GFC, what is GFC? That we have a full form, the generic flow control. Generic flow control, that is GFC. Generic flow control is the full form of GFC. That a field in a 4-bit field that was originally added to support the connection of ATM network to shared the access network, such as distributed queues dual box. This is distributed queues dual box has been access and control that is used. Ring. The GFC field was designed to give the user network interface, that is UNI, 4-bit in which to negotiate multiplexing and a flow control among the cells of various ATM connections. However, the use and the exact values of the GFC field have not been standardized, and the field is always set up 0 0 0 0. The where the GFC is a generic flow control that is in the field, that is a 4-bit field, and that was originally added to that particular support, that the connection of the ATM network and the shared access control, that such as the distributed queues dual bus, that is DQDB, that we ring that we are using, that is distributed queue dual bus ring. The GFC, that is the generic flow control, is also was designed by to give the user network interface, that is UNI, as I said you before, that is a 4-bit in which to negotiate a multiplexing and the flow control among the cells of the various ATM connections as well. However, the use of the exact values of these GFC field has not been standardized, and the field is always set to 0 0 0 0. What we had discussed here with reference to the GFC here. Now we will dealing with a VPI. Here we have to discuss about the VPI. The VPI full form, is Virtual Path Identifier, VPI. So that is Virtual Path Identifier. This is of 8-bit. UNI 32 bits NNI. तो बेसिकली 8 बिट का आपका UNI होता है और 12 बिट का आपका जो है NNI होता है, दैट इज नेटवर्क आइडेंटिफायर. एंड हियर वर्चुअल पाथ आइडेंटिफायर, दैट VPI में 8 बिट का आपका UNI होता है और 12 बिट का आपका NNI होता है. नाउ वी डील विद VCI. VCI क्या होता है? VCI इज अ वर्चुअल चैनल आइडेंटिफायर. वर्चुअल चैनल आइडेंटिफायर जो होता है वो टोटल आपका 16 बिट का होता है. नाउ वी हैव अ नेक्स्ट, दैट इज PT. PT क्या होता है? आपका पेलोड टाइप होता है. पेलोड टाइप जो है वो आपका 3 बिट का होता है. और फिर इसके बाद आता है PT बिट, जो कि 3 होता है आपका. जो MS बिट पे आता है वो आपका नेटवर्क मैनेजमेंट सेल होता है. If 0 user data call are the following of the types. PT bit 2 की बात करते हैं तो PT bit 2 जो है explicit forward congestions होते हैं, इसमें explicit forward congestions यूज होते हैं. तो this is all about that we had discussed about the GFCs, the VPI, VCI, PT bit 3 MS bit, or PT bit 2 that we are dealing with here. So all of these that been concluding this ICT fundamentals class 3. Now we'll move with the next class, that we'll discussing about the ICTs, the next, that is digital signature and all about a router, that we'll discuss in the next class, in the class 4 of ICT fundamentals. But before that, it's a request, if you had not subscribed our channel and if you have not liked and share our videos, so do like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though they can enjoy the video and they can get the knowledge about what you are sharing. And basically thank you for those subscribers, those had subscribed our channel, because we are extending from more than 1000 subscribers. Thanks for all of you, because of you all it is not possible. Thank you.